Thanks to Squarespace for making today's video possible.
What's up guys, Zach from TechSource. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 116, where you submit your desk setup to get featured on our channel. If you guys want to participate, make sure to watch the video link down below. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let the Setup Wars begin. Kickstarting the episode, we got my homie Anthony and his YouTube setup. He does create tech videos like me, so make sure you guys check him out. I'll drop a link below to his channel. So he's got the new LG 34UC89G that was just released by LG, and this thing can be overclocked to 166 Hz. It features G-Sync, and it's a curved ultra-wide monitor. Make sure you guys check out my video on it in case you missed it last week. It's currently one of the best ultra-wide gaming monitors you can buy right now. So he's got that hooked up to the Human Scale M2 arm, which is attached to the Human Scale Float desk, and wow. This thing starts at $1750 and it's an adjustable desk. Personally, if I were you, I would have saved a lot of money going with an adjustable base by itself and then picking up a tabletop separately. Not only would I have saved a lot of money, but also I can go with any tabletop I want to match my setup perfectly. I did exactly that in my vlog. My recent vlog, actually, check it out in case you guys missed it. But anyways, back to the setup. So for audio, he's rocking a pair of Bose Companion 5 speakers and his Blue Yeti blackout microphone for voiceovers. He's also using the Corsair K70 Rapid Fire and the Sabre RGB mouse, but that Xbox controller is kind of out of place. Maybe put that there just to take pics, but I feel like you can find a better place for that, and for the watch as well, that's just laying flat in the middle of the desk. I personally think a watch stand is a bit unnecessary, but maybe it's something you guys might like on your desk. I'll drop a link to one with a clear stand that I found on Amazon just in case. For gaming, he's got the Void wireless headset as well as the Oculus for VR gaming. It's interesting what he did with the cable management. So there's a raceway that's holding up majority of the cables, and we also have a cable sleeve coming out of the subwoofer, and he basically tied everything together using zip ties, I believe. And he's even got a holder for his APC on the right side. It's very smart of him to mount it like that because of the nature of the desk. If he were to adjust the height of the desk, the UPC would go along with it. I'll also give you a point for hooking up your router underneath the desk. And finally, the PC that's powering the setup is rocking a 4790K and an MSI GTX 970. It's a black and red themed PC with RGB lights. Okay, so it's a pretty decent setup. Now, there's a few things that I would personally have changed, like cleaning up the keyboard and mouse wire. If you don't want to drill a hole in the table, then that's fine, but at least route the mouse wire underneath the keyboard and wrap it together, so that way it looks like there's only one wire going across your table. Also, your YouTube banner isn't exactly centered with your monitor, and there isn't any real consistency across your setup. Now here's the thing, if you're gonna pick up some RGB lights and build a custom PC with a certain color scheme in mind, I would put in some more effort and try to spread that around your setup. I feel like a black and white setup with red accents would be perfect for this. You already have some red accents on your mouse pad, and you got your PC. Hell, even the banner on the wall has some red on it. The first thing I would do is replace that green Android figurine with a white one, or you can even custom paint your own, and I would replace that black Qi charger with a white one as well for that added contrast. And finally, the icing on the cake would be to switch up all the LED lights to red, which will give it the perfect balance for your setup. Normally, I wouldn't recommend this many things for just one setup, but I figured if you can afford an $1,800 desk, then these would be nothing for you. I see lots of potential to improve. Thank you, Anthony, for entering, and good luck on your channel, man. Here's an interesting setup from Enger, and every time I see a giant screen like this, I ask, how? How do you guys do it? It's a 43-inch 4K TV from Sony, and just look how small the icons are on the screen. You guys can barely see it. This guy must have some special glasses to be able to see all that, but I bet gaming is awesome on it though. So the desk he's using is the famous IKEA Malm, and he's covered it with a tablecloth for some reason. He's also using the K70 RGB keyboard and the G502 RGB mouse that's sitting on top of the Firefly mousepad. Oh, so it looks like he put the tablecloth on the desk so that he can drill a hole in it and route the cables underneath it, so that way he doesn't damage the actual desk. That's an interesting way to do it. I don't see a single source of audio, no headphones or speakers, so I'm assuming he's using the speakers from the TV, which is interesting. This got me thinking, how many of you guys actually use the speakers built inside your monitors? I made a straw polling just for that. Make sure you guys click on it and vote if you want. I'm very curious. So the PC that's powering this massive 4K TV is a custom loop rocking a new 1800X Ryzen CPU and two EVGA GTX 1080s in SLI. I think this is our first official Ryzen 7 build on Setup Wars, very nice. Even though you're using the stock PSU cables, you did a great job on the wire management, props on that. What's also cool about this build is that he synced his RGB lights to his smartphone and he's able to change the color very easily, very nice. The rest of the cables from the setup look good, they're off the ground, so no major complaints here. It's actually a pretty straightforward gaming setup. The only thing that's strange about it is the fact that he's not using speakers or headphones, but thank you Inger for entering. Jeb is up next with a dual setup. We got one for productivity and one for gaming. We don't get much of these since most people build a PC for both gaming and productivity and they use the same monitor, but sometimes it's necessary to split them up. For example, I know for a fact that a Mac is far better than a Windows PC when it comes to editing video on Adobe or Final Cut Pro. The optimization you get with Mac is something that Windows just can't compete with. It really pains me to say that, but it's true. So on the left side is the productivity setup being powered by a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and that's hooked up to a Samsung TV along with his PS4. It's sitting on a custom-made riser that he built using the IKEA Capita legs and an IKEA shelf, so very nice job there. On both sides we got a pair of Yamaha HS5 Studio monitor speakers and a MIDI keyboard. On the other side we got a Samsung monitor hooked up against the wall, and below that he's using the iBuyPower keyboard with cherry red switches and the Razer Naga mouse. He does have a pair of Bose Companion 5 speakers as well as a Logitech G933 gaming headset. The PC isn't exactly custom built since he picked it up from iBuyPower, but it's rocking a 7700K and an Asus Strix GTX 1080. It's sitting on carpet though, so I would definitely recommend picking up a PC stand, that way it's not sucking up all the dust and dirt from the ground, and it'll be a lot easier to move it around in case you need to access the back to plug things in. And as a bonus, it actually matches your setup's color scheme, so that's always a nice plus. The cable management is very clean for the most part. I love the use of the wall channel raceways you've got throughout the setup. All the cables are hidden very nicely. There are a few wires sticking out from places depending on what angle you look at the setup from, so it's not perfect, but you still did a really good job. Jeb, you got two awesome setups. Thank you for entering. Next up on the list is Kay and his impressive black and red gaming setup featuring the 29-inch ultra-wide monitor from LG that's hooked up to the NB-F80 mount, which he painted in white. The keyboard he's got is an interesting one. So this is the Tesoro Lobera Spectrum with Magic Force retro keycaps. It kind of gives off this typewriter feel and it actually looks pretty cool. The mouse he is using is the Armageddon G11 and he's also rocking an extended mousepad from Corsair. Okay, so check this out, Anthony. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. See the way that Kay routed his keyboard and mouse wire? Something like this looks a lot cleaner instead of running the cables across the table like you did. Even the wires behind the Audio Technicas are managed very well. The rest of the cables throughout the setup are hidden very well, and I don't have major complaints. The PC he's got has the 4460 and two GTX 960s in SLI. There's definitely a lot of personality in this setup. I don't get that empty vibe. There are a few extra things on the desk than I prefer, but overall this is a solid gaming setup. Thank you, Kay, for entering. Last but not least, we got the return of Locke from episode 84, and it looks like he made some very impressive upgrades since then. So this is a dual setup for him and his brother, I believe. The first major differences I noticed are the monitors and the PC that's sitting right smack in the center. The PC on top is actually powering the setup on the left side, and it's equipped with a 6850K and an Asus Strix 1080 Ti with 64 gigs of RAM. That is a beast right there. The PC under the desk, however, has a 7700K and an Asus Strix 1080 with 16 gigs of RAM. It's not as overkill as the first one, but it's still pretty beefy. I also get this vibe that both of you guys are fans of Asus. I'm not sure why I feel that way though. And as if the PCs aren't enough, they also share an Asus GX 800 gaming laptop. This thing is packed with a 7820HK, 64 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 1080. I'm sorry, two GTX 1080s and SLI. Who are you people? They also upgraded both of their monitors, and it looks like they joined the ultra-wide team. I'm gonna have to give you an applause for that. Very nice upgrades too. They are both using the Asus ROG PG348Q. This entire room is decked out with Asus logos, RGB lights, and even Asus gear. We got the Asus ROG Claymore keyboard, ROG Centurion headset, and the ROG Gladius mouse. I'm not even mad that you didn't go with the Asus ROG Spatha mouse and picked up the Logitech G900 mouse instead. Even though the Asus streak ended here, I completely agree with your decision. The G900 is a much better mouse. I have to say, aside from all that Asus stuff you got, my favorite part about this gaming room is still the ceiling with the ROG logo. I love how you can control the lights around it, and it's built really well. I can't even see the RGB strips. There's a crap ton of stuff to connect, but you guys did an awesome job keeping all the cables hidden behind the backboard of your custom-made desk, which, by the way, was designed by Locke himself. A phenomenal gaming room setup, definitely still one of the best I've seen on the channel. Thank you guys for entering again, and please feel free to send in any more updates that you guys do to this. So before I head out, I'm gonna give a huge thanks to Squarespace for making this video possible. I've personally been using their platform for the past 4 years now, but more recently, 2 years ago, I created my very own website, dealsource.tech, which I'm sure a lot of you guys already heard of. I love how easy it was to create the website. I didn't know anything about coding, and I still don't know anything about coding, yet I was able to create such a clean looking website. And that's because most of the things are drag and drop. It's very easy. Trust me guys, if I can do it, you can do it too. They did come up with 16 new really awesome looking templates that you guys can choose from, or you can start from scratch, kind of like what I did with my website. But just for my subscribers out there, you guys can get 10% off your first order if you visit squarespace.com/techsource. So that is it for this episode of Setup Wars. As always, comment down below on who you think has the best desk setup. I'll announce the winners on Twitter and Instagram accounts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love your fingernails, and I'll see you in the next video.